everyone, Jim here, Sir Video Entertainment, continuing our client video project, and today we're going to be working on the horn section. Now if you notice, we've got two tracks of horns, and this sequence only came in with two. Some will come in with more, but they usually sound really MIDI, and it's a little bit of work to get these to sound more natural. But for now, let's listen real quick. So yeah, they sound pretty crappy. So what we need to do to fix these is we need to duplicate the tracks because we have to thicken this up. So what I'm going to do, and I'm not going to do this in the video, but I am going to preset all this up so that we can just start working on tones and things like that with the horns. All I'm going to do is copy and paste this particular track into several other tracks so that we can add different horn sounds and just thicken the whole thing up. So I'll go ahead and take care of that and be right back with you. Okay, so I went ahead and created our additional horn tracks. And again, all I did was copy and paste. And I did add in some better sounding horn plugins. And you can find all these in Logic. I didn't use anything fancy. And I also wanted to point out that if you have the horn section, especially copy and pasting tracks so they're all identical, sometimes it helps to drop an octave on one or more of the horn tracks. So let me show you what I did here. This is the way it come in with no transpo, but I did transpo this one down a full octave, and I transposed this one down a full octave as well. We started out with two tracks, so we added 4 additional. And if you notice, we have a string section here and on the horns. And I do that because I think it really helps thicken up the horn section a little bit. And we don't really want to hear the strings. We just want them off in the background. And you'll hear what that sounds like as soon as I hit play here. So let's go ahead and listen. I've already created a little loop here. And you can already hear that the horn section sounds 100 times better than it did with the 2 regular tracks. And of course you'll notice I did do a little panning on those tracks as well. Today we're going to set up a bus a little different. Instead of using our standard send, which we would normally do, which actually combines the stereo output of each channel and the send affected, we're going to use our stereo output and bus them all that way. Essentially what we're doing is grouping this entire horn section into a single bus. Let's go ahead and label it. And we'll add in a compressor. Today we're going to be using a compressor tool that just fattens up the entire section. And let's bring this back to 0 and just see what it's doing. Again, we want to try to get that bouncing around that -5. So let's see what it's doing. Yeah, it's not doing much. Let's go ahead and kick it up a notch here. And let's get this loop a little tighter here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do some more adjustments here. Try to get that needle bouncing. That looks better. Okay. We're going to take this a step further, and we're going to add in some reverb to kind of smooth out those edges so they don't sound so harsh. Now with this, because we've set this bus up on a stereo output down here instead of a send, we need to keep that dry signal at 100%. Now you don't have to do this, but I like it at 100%, and then we'll slowly bring in the reverb just to get it to where we like it. So let's bring up our fader a little and listen. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. And while I'm here, I'm actually going to go ahead and do our standard bus over to the horn section here. And bring that up a little bit. So now you're really starting to hear that horn section come alive. And of course, once we start mixing it a little bit better, we can get that sounding even better than what we have now. So for now, let's go ahead and listen to what everything sounds like together. And we'll open this up a little bit more so we can get a little bit better feel for it. So that sounded pretty good. Well, let's work on this little alto sax section here. I'm going to go ahead and just solo it by itself. It doesn't sound too bad. Maybe add a little bit more reverb to it. I think that sounds a little bit better. Let's hear it in the mix. Yeah, that sounds better. Okay, so that's another great starting point for horns. Of course, once we get into mixing, we'll get everything fine-tuned. But that should do it for today. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions on what we've done today, just give me a shout. Thanks so much for watching.